So I put this together for conservation districts, and I just want to show this to you because these folks are out there on the front lines. Their main thing is to protect the natural resources. That's what they're there for, okay? I promote, or I encourage them to build a cooperation with the municipalities and the industries to go with a cooperative effort and not an adversarial situation where and when possible. And I've been talking about this pre-haul road improvements for years, and this year it's finally happening. Problem with that is we're getting a lot of pre-haul road improvements, and now they're spilling into this whole other realm that I'm not in a regulatory realm, and I don't, you know, I'm not going either way on this subject. I'm just saying now they're spilling into a different thing with the same people that we've been working with, and we're finally getting buy-in. All of a sudden there's a new issue out there, and it's causing some rub-ins between the municipalities, industry, and these districts that are trying to oversee just wholesale construction activities throughout the county. And I encourage ESM principles, if not practices. I'll talk just a little bit about those. Again, work with the municipalities and industry to identify both completed and prospective work sites. A work site is an area of the road that's draining directly to the stream, to protect those that are finished and maybe address the ones that need to be done. Encourage the gas companies to attend a one-day road builders or heavy haulers ESM training, which the center is putting out. It'll be available this February. And make sure you publicly recognize those companies that choose to voluntarily cooperate with this program. We found that the gas companies out there, even though there's run-ins, most of them, almost every one of them wants to do things right. It's just a matter of the builders that are out there putting the roads in. Maybe some of them haven't been road builders in the past, some of them haven't been exposed to the challenges of Pennsylvania, and some of them are just, this is a whole new concept to them, okay? But we found that once they are exposed to this, they're more than willing to step outside the box and try some stuff, and I'll point out a few things here. And that requires building rapport with industry reps and township to keep you in the loop, or keep the districts in the loop. And this is good. We're working on this, this is an example, providing outreach is why ESMs are important, not only for the environment, but for the community. Now from a municipal role, if you were a municipal roadmaster sitting in this room, these are the big things that are important to you. First of all, preserve, protect, enhance municipal roads. That's what you're there for. Maintain the roads to keep them up to speed, and if possible, make them even better than they are. And that and your main purpose is to keep them safe and passable. You better be spending the public money wisely, and all this is in support of community growth and development. And you're also tasked, if nothing else, regulated, you're covered under regulations and not exempt from regulations to protect the environment. As I mentioned earlier, the roads that we're seeing out there, and this is a road that has been upgraded to handle gas traffic, right not far from here actually. These are great roads, but you got to keep in mind, if your municipalities are going to have to keep in mind public safety, faster traffic, future maintenance, dust, and environmental impacts. What I mean here is look at this drop-off right here. This road previously was at an elevation about right here, okay? And if you're the guy going out to go deer hunting first Monday after Thanksgiving, you haven't been on this road and you're coming in the dark and everything, this is where you normally pulled out. This could be kind of hairy to go off the edge of there, or if you slide off there during an ice event or something, okay? And we just want to remind the townships that they own that. Regardless of who did the work, they own that. They have a liability in that, okay? And yes, great road and everything like that, but some things are changing here. And most of the townships I've talked to have not taken this into consideration. And remember, if it's going to remain an unpaved road, the wider the road, when you lay trees back and open up for visibility, that type of thing, typically you're going to wind up with faster traffic. The farther people can see, the smoother the road, the faster they go. This will help to create more safety issues, dust complaints. There's, and again, on those roads when there's icy spots and stuff like that, it all goes back to the safety. And in addition, a lot of it is traffic and speed that helps to unravel your road or displace the aggregate on the road surface faster, which will require more ongoing cyclical maintenance. Future maintenance. I asked a township supervisor the other day, I said, okay, you've got an agreement, these guys are coming in and they're doing this work for you, you're very happy with what's going on. Did they sign that agreement that they're going to maintain this road in perpetuity? In other words, forever. Most of those agreements that you see out there have the phrase in there, or have the clause in there that says that this agreement will remain in effect until conclusion of the heavy construction phase of this project. And then they will be if they're bonded or whatever, the bonds will be returned, and they will no longer, the companies will no longer have responsibility for the maintenance of the road. And I've told them, I said, unless there is a vehicle or an avenue for you guys to get more money in the long run into your maintenance coffers, which may happen just through income tax elevations and all kinds of things. I'm not saying it won't, but I said just keep an eye on it, because if you don't have the money now to keep these roads up to date and everything, when these roads get turned back over to you and you have twice the surface area, remember, surface aggregate is the most costly part of unpaved road maintenance. If you've got twice the surface area now throughout the county to maintain, you couldn't maintain it before, you ain't going to maintain it now, okay? The other thing is, if you're snow plowing, now a lot of times you'll get places up and out and you'll be able to get snow off the road, but if you're dealing with a 12-foot plow, you better upgrade your snow removal equipment, because now you have some very large roads that you're going to be tasked with maintaining. So consider that. Dust, all right? It's a big issue. The road I was on the other day was actually one of these roads that had FDR, full depth reclamation, where they stabilized the surface with Portland cement. And actually on that road I was pretty impressed. It worked pretty well in the conditions that we were up there. As the trucks roared down the road on the Portland cement section, there was no dust, but that didn't mean that there were areas where they were coming in and off of a new access road, and they ramped it up and respread gravel on the road. And as soon as those trucks hit that, huge plumes of dust went up, okay? So I can see that this is going to become, dust control is going to become a much larger issue with faster traffic, more traffic overall as communities grow and that kind of thing. This is something to have to keep in mind. And the environmental impacts of these roads. We're dealing with this development, as I pointed out way back in that early slide, roads tend to concentrate water flows, okay? Start hacking, we're just talking about public roads here, but a lot of cases we're gonna have access roads coming to the public roads, okay? We're gonna have a grid of roads going all throughout areas which were formerly wooded areas or farm fields and that kind of thing, and they'll be intercepting water everywhere. And as they concentrate water and dump it out in one place, very rarely does it actually diffuse back into the groundwater or whatever, but a lot of times it'll find another channel and wind up in the road ditch if it's not channeled directly to the road ditch in the first place. So we have more impervious surface on the top, we have more runoff just from the township road, and we have more water coming to the township road from off-site sources and stuff, and we have a greater potential for environmental impact here. So, and the good news is there are some ways. I'm not saying that we're not going to see some environmental impacts, but there's some ways that it's pretty common sense stuff about how you can minimize this impact, and everybody can win. Here's an example of something I wanted to point out to you quickly. This was about a month ago up in Lake Township, Luzerne County. Encana, that was the company. This was going to be their first well drilled in Luzerne County. And the Conservation District said, hey, we've got a company coming in here. We've got a road that's not too darn good. They're going to use it for their ingress of all their trucks and everything like that. And within a week, let's put it this way, within a week we had a cooperative effort to put in a section of roadway. Granted, it was only 125 feet long, but a section of roadway where we did some base reinforcements, working with Borton Lawson Engineers, myself, the Conservation District, Lindy Construction, Encana, and this lady right here who's the landowner of this property here. We all worked together to cooperate and put a chunk of roadway in here to see how it was going to hold up against the rest of the roadway on the ingress where the loaded trucks will be coming in. Just to say, we've been saying, you know, guys, this isn't going to support it, and really it's a good idea to put some money ahead, and so that you're not going to damage this road and end up spending more money in the long run just to keep it passable. So this is one of these projects that we're doing. You know, we're out there on the ground doing some of this stuff to try to back up what we've been promoting the entire time. It's kind of neat. You know, this project involved some heavy rock and some geogrid. There was an underdrain put in here where some wet spots were, and we used our favorite surface material, the driving surface aggregate developed by the center here as the road surface top. And we'll monitor that. As I said in an interview, they had me on WPSU the other morning. I was with Emily Reddy, and we went to that site. And I did say, honestly, I said, I hope that road doesn't fly apart for the township's sake, for the company's sake, for everybody's sake. But the point is that if it does fly apart, it will help to sell this preemptive maintenance idea that we've been pushing so long. And there's a good chance it could fly apart if they don't do anything else. There's about that much compacted gravel and nothing but clay. And if that clay gets saturated, it's going to be an ugly scene. This is Dam Run Road. There's probably a few of you who've been on this site. There's a couple of companies working here in Lycoming County. This is between Saldaysburg and Waterville. This is about a 7-mile long township road that runs through mostly DCNR ground on both sides, but it is a township road. This road did fly apart during the March 4th thaw, okay? And Range Resources, Anadarko, and PG&E all have wells along this road. They were all communally using this road with an agreement between the three companies as to, you know, how much of a percentage each would pitch in for road maintenance. And they kind of threw the road maintenance to a guy been working pretty closely with, Bruce Snyder from Range Resources, their environmental guy. And when that road blew apart, he called the rest of the guys and said, we got to shut this thing down. Because we have an exceptional value stream down the road here called Larry's Creek. And no matter how much socking he put on there, for over a mile, the rutting was just, that 2-inch rain we got after that on the weekend just poured mud down into Larry's Creek. And he said, just for that purpose alone, we've got to shut this thing down and we've got to address it. Well, they hurried up and addressed it. I don't have all the pictures in here of the process. I was up there while they did the old, what I call the old Pincho Road idea. They took a road that had no base, was just a basic, you know, for small traffic, and they put in a lot of heavy bridge rock in the bottom, and they built it up with smaller rock to the top. And the neat thing about this is, as you see some of these pictures, they didn't have to wholesale remove trees way back to the edge. They have a driving surface now. By eliminating deep ditches on the sides, they have a driving surface now that can easily pass trucks up through there. It's nice here. There's, you know, they basically eliminated ditches altogether, used the idea that we promote of sheet flow in this process. There's no ditch to maintain, and no ditch for these guys to run off and get all hogged up in. Real nice shape to the road and everything. This was a post-collapse construction project, but one that I thought was, it was an industry initiative that they took on. They asked me to now, in this case, this was before the old 102 regulations were coming out and everything. This activity right out here may have gotten them into a little bit of pickle if they were going outside their traditional area. I don't think this is as drastic as what we're seeing in some places. But again, you know, the idea was that they feathered this down to get nice nice sheet flow and eliminate ditches altogether. That road before had ditches on both sides and had a lot of places up along the top where the land was flat of getting that water off the road. Now they've killed a whole bunch of birds with one stone here. And all the time I'm promoting it, and anybody I can get on the bandwagon with me, the role of both the municipality and the conservation district should be to encourage ESM principles. And basically the three main ones is, first of all, while the activity is going on, to keep the road drainage functional, that is there, all right, to try to go for this idea of sheet flow and disconnected drainage. In other words, we're trying to eliminate the connectivity directly to streams, disconnect that drainage. It's kind of the opposite idea of stormwater management in the cities and towns. And in there, you don't have any place to put water because you've got yards and houses and everything like that to put drainage off the road. So in a lot of cases, we drop it into drop inlets and we put it into a bigger and bigger trunk line until we can get it to a large field or most often the river and get it out of there. On rural roads, we don't have to do that. We don't have to follow that same mentality. We can have each individual pipe can be its own little watershed and have its own little outlet. And that goes into a lot of things about stable outlets and minimizing ditch runs and all kinds of stuff. But disconnected drainage, and avoid this type of thing, okay? Road drainage directly to streams, lakes, and surface body waters, or surface water bodies. I've been talking a lot about these ESMPs, or environmentally sensitive maintenance practices. There's the definition. It's a maintenance practice that works with natural systems to create a better road and a better environment.